Greetings to all. Welcome to Future of this Academy. Today we are going to see the daily current affairs of August 9. So today we are going to see the topics of DNA profiling and its value in establishing guilt or innocence, which comes under GS3 paper under Science and Technology. Next on monetary policy and financial markets, which comes under GS3 Indian economy. Next, why Himalayan towns need a different kind of development. So we'll be seeing under GS1 as well as in GS3 under Indian society and environment. Next, Ashit 92.97 meter dethrones Neeraj, so which we have to know under prelims perspective. Next, Buddha Dev Bhattacharya 1944 to 2024. So we have to know about under personality thing. Next, editorial analysis, and finally we are going to see international organization topic. Now we'll move on to the first topics. So DNA profiling and its value in establishing guilt or innocence. So we have to know why it is in use. The use of DNA profiling in criminal investigation is often perceived as definite in determining guilt or innocence. However, recent cases and judicial insights highlight its limitation and the necessity for corroborating evidence, emphasizing that DNA analysis should be considered probabilistic rather than conclusive in legal proceedings. Next, the definition and concept of DNA profiling. Under this, we have to see first DNA profiling definition. So DNA profiling, also known as genetic fingerprinting, is a forensic technique used to identify individuals by analyzing specific patterns in their DNA. These patterns are unique to each individual and are used to match DNA samples from crime scenes with suspect. Next, the concept of DNA profiling. In concept, we have DNA structure, STRs, and lossy examination. So in DNA structure, we'll be seeing that DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid is the hereditary material in humans and other organisms. It consists of sequences of four nucleotides, that is adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine, that form a unique genetic code. Next, STR is a DNA profiling focuses on short tandem repeats, which are repetitive sequence of DNA at specific locations. The number of timings these sequences repeat varies among individuals, providing unique DNA profile. In loci examination, that is in location examination, in forensic DNA profiling, a new specific loci are chosen to create a DNA profile. By comparing these loci, forensic scientists can determine whether two DNA samples match. Next, the value in establishing guilt or innocence. In this, we'll be seeing about identification, collaborative evidence, corroborative evidence, limitations, limitations, probability based, probability based, non exclusivity, investigation versus courtroom, investigation versus courtroom. So, under identification, we will be seeing that DNA profiling is a powerful tool for identifying or excluding suspects in criminal investigations by matching DNA from crime scene with potential perpetrators. Next, in collaborative evidence. While DNA evidence can strongly support a case, it often used in conjunction with other types of evidence, such as example eyewitness testimony, physical evidence to establish guilt or innocence. In limitations, they says that the reliability of DNA evidence depends on proper collection, storage, and analysis of samples. Also, the contamination, degradation, or mishandling of DNA samples can lead to conclusive or inaccurate results. Next, the probability based. So DNA analysis is based on probability, meaning it can provide a statistical likelihood of a match rather than absolute certainty. The random occurrence ratio helps indicate how common a particular DNA profile might be. Next, the non-exclusivity. So a match does not conclusively prove identity, as similar profiles can occur in unrelated individuals. DNA evidence should be considered alongside other evidence in court to establish guilt or innocence. Finally, in investigation was courtroom, DNA profiling is highly valuable for investigation purpose, guiding police in identifying suspects, but its roles in court relies on corroboration and the context of these cases. So our next topic is about on monetary policy and financial markets. So we have to know why it is in news. The global economy is navigating uncertainty as financial markets react to interest rate changes and employment data. The Bank of Japan's rate hike distributed Asian markets, highlighting challenges implementing monetary policy amid volatile global markets and the interconnectedness of domestic policies and international financial activities. Now we have to know about what is monetary policy. It refers to the actions undertaken by countries' central bank or monetary authority to control the money supply, manage interest rate, and achieve macroeconomic objectives such as controlling inflation, consumption, growth, and liquidity. By adjusting the policy interest rate and other instruments, central bank influence economic activity, impacting borrowing, spending, and investment decisions. In expansionary monetary policy, interest rates are lower to stimulate economic growth, while contractionary policy involves raising interest rates to curb inflation. Through these measures, monetary policy aims to stabilize the economy, maintain price stability, and foster conditions conducive to sustainable economic growth and employment. Next, Monetary Policy Committee. In this committee, we have to know about under section 45ZB of the amended RBI Act 1934, the central government is empowered to constitute a six-member monetary policy committee. Here, it will determine the policy interest rate required to achieve the inflation target. The first such MPC was constituted in September 2016. With this, we have to know about the members of MPC. The RBI governor as its ex-officio chairperson, the deputy governor in charge of monetary policy, an officer of a bank to be nominated by the central board, and three persons to be appointed by the central government. So they are the members of monetary policy committee. So what are the functions of this monetary policy committee? They have functions such as setting policy interest rates, inflation targeting, economic analysis and forecasting, and also the decision making. What are the global economic uncertainty here? Despite a seeming recovery in global inflation markets after significant value drops, the global economy remains uncertain. Employment generation in the US is weaker than expected, threatening post-pandemic recovery efforts. The Bank of Japan decision to raise interest rates after maintaining them at low levels for years has unsettled financial markets, causing a reversal at low level for years has settled in the decline of Asian markets. Those developments highlight the challenges central banks face in combating inflation and sluggish economic activity through interest rate adjustments. So, what is the recession fears in monetary policy? The common approach to monetary policy involves a trade off between unemployment and inflation. Central banks typically raise interest rates to combat rising inflation, which reduces investment and aggregate demand, leading to decreased labor demand and easing inflationary pressures. Critics argue that this approach unfairly burdens workers already dealing with the cost of living crisis and suggests tackling inflation by reducing company profit margins and breaking monopolies. The economy was not in a recession, but market expectations alone led to be the panic among the investors. Now, the market reactions and financial sector impact. The rise in the unemployment rates triggered the sham rule. so which involves automatic disbursement and unemployment checks when the unemployment increases significantly, correlating with potential recession indicators. This situation highlights the challenges of conducting monetary policy in a financial sector where market reactions can be shift and outpace policy response. Next, the carry, trade and global finance. The Bank of Japan interest rate increase distributed the carry trade, where investors borrowed at low rates in Japan to invest in foreign markets. The rate hike led to higher borrowing costs and selling pressures in other markets as investors adjusted their portfolios. Domestic policy decisions such as low interest rates in Japan have significant ripple effects on global financial activities and other economies. Now, what are the challenges for monetary policy? Financial markets recovery suggests recession fears may be exaggerated, but vulnerabilities persist. These events underscore the re-establishing potential of global finance and the challenges it possesses to effective monetary policy. The rapid movement of financial assets across borders adds complexity to nation economic policy, aligned with Keynes' view on instability of finance-driven capital development. So with this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in previous year 2017. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the Monetary Policy Committee? It decides the RBI benchmark interest rates. A 12-member body including governor of RBI and it is reconstituted every year. It functions under chairmanship of the Union Finance Minister. Select the correct answer using the code given below. So here the answer is A. Only the first statement is correct here. So now we'll move on to the next topic. Why Himalayan towns need a different kind of development. So why it is in news? Rapid urban growth in the Indian Himalayan range from 2011 to 2021 presents unique changes for managing civic infrastructure and environmental sustainability. Issues like inadequate planning, resource shortages, and unchecked expansion are compounded by rising tourism and climate changes, necessitating a shift towards eco-centric urban planning and improved financial support. With this, we have to know about urban growth in Indian Himalayan range. So, the Indian Himalayan range spanning 11 states and 11 states and 2 union territories experienced a decadal urban growth rate exceeding 40% from 2011 to 2021. So the rapid expansion of towns and settlements highlights the need for tailored approach to urbanization in the region. Now, what are the uncontrolled urban expansion seen here? Urban expansion into peripheral areas is a growing concern. Cities like Srinagar and Guwahati are encroaching on village commons, leading to the depletion of open spaces, forest lands, and watersheds. Next, the underlying causes. The Indian Himalayan region is under immense pressure from rapid urbanization and development, compounded by high intensity tourism, unsustainable infrastructure practice, and irresponsible resources use, particularly land and water. These issues are further aggravated by climate change impacts, such changing precipitation patterns and rising temperatures, leading to water scarcity, deforestation, land degradation, biodiversity loss, and increased population, including the plastic waste. These pressures threaten to disrupt the socio-ecological fabric of the Himalayas with potential devastating consequences for local communities and ecosystems. Tourism in IHR has expanded significantly with an average annual growth rate of 7.9% from 2013 to 23. However, this growth was often resulted in replacement of eco-friendly infrastructure with inappropriate and unsafe constructions, poorly designed roads, and adequate waste management system. This has led to depletion of natural resources, damaging biodiversity and essential ecosystem services. For long-term sustainability, a shift towards ecotourism, which prioritizes environmentally friendly practices, is urgently needed. Now, what are the strategic recommendations seen here? The strategic recommendations are mapping and vulnerability assessment. Vulnerability assessment. Next, climate resilient climate resilient urban design, urban financing, urban financing for IHR, Indian Himalayan region. Next, focus on sustainability. So these are the strategic recommendations seen here. With this, we'll be seeing the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in previous year 2022. Consider the following pairs: Peak Mountains, Namchabarwa, Garhwal Himalayan, Nanda Devi, Kumaon Himalayan, Nokrek Sikkim Himalayan. Which of the pairs given above is correctly matched? So the answer is B. Only 2 is correctly matched. So our next topic is about Arshad's 92.97-meter dethrones Neeraj. So we have to know about news first. At the Paris Olympics, Arshad Nadeem of Pakistan won gold in javelin throw, beating India's Neeraj Chopra, the reigning Olympic and world champion. Nadeem set a new Olympic record within the throws of 92.97 meter and 91.79 meter. Neeraj secured silver with second best career throw of 89.45 meter. Next, at the Paris Olympics, Arshad Nadeem of Pakistan claimed gold in javelin throw, defeating India's Neeraj Chopra. Nadeem's outstanding performance include two record-breaking throws, that is 92.97 meter and 91.79 meter, setting a new Olympic record. Neeraj Chopra, despite delivering season's best and second best career throw 89.45 meter, had to settle for silver, which marked India's best result in Paris. Next, International Olympic Committee. We have to know about that. The International Olympic Committee is a non-governmental international organization based in Lausanne, Switzerland, that came into existence in 1894. The IOC aims to ensure the regular holding of the Olympic Games and foster Olympism and Olympic movement. Olympism is a philosophy that blends sport, culture, education, and international cooperation, emphasizing the joy of effort, the educational value of good examples, social responsibility, and respect for universal ethical principles. The goal of Olympic movement is to contribute to building a peaceful and better world by educating youth through sports practiced in accordance with Olympism and its values. The three main constituents of the Olympic movement are the IOC, the International Sports Federation, and the National Olympic Committee. The IOC decides the rules and regulation of the Olympic Games and when and where the next Olympic event will be held. So, the IOC is the final authority of all questions concerning the Olympic Games and Olympic movement. So, with this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in previous year 2021. Consider the following statement in respect of the Laureus World Sport Award, which was instituted in the year 2000. American golfer Tiger Woods was the first winner of this award. The award was received mostly by Formula One players so far. Roger Federer received this award maximum number of times compared to others. Which of the above statements are correct? So the answer is C. Only first and third statement are correct statement. So now we'll move on to the next topic. Buddhadev Bhattacharya, 1944 to 2024. The former CM of West Bengal and leader, he was passed away at 80. So he was a politician who served as CM of West Bengal for 2000 to 2011. So he was known for his attempts to modernize and industrialize West Bengal while navigating the challenges of maintaining communist ideology. In 2022, Bhattacharya was awarded Padma Bhushan by Indian government, which he declined, citing his political principles. Now, what are the key contributions? First, the political reforms. Attempts to reduce in political reforms. So attempted to reduce the influence of powerful trade unions in the state, particularly in the industrial sector, to attract investment and improve work culture. Next, in social cultural reforms. So played a key role in establishing the Kolkata International Film Festival and promoted Bengali literature. Authored several books and translated works of Gabriel Garcia Mark and Valdemar Malevsky into Bengali, enriching the state cultural heritage. introduced measures to eliminate corruption in school requirement by ensuring all hiring was conducted through transparent exams, initiated reforms to integrate mainstream subjects into madrasa education. Next, in economic reforms. So led efforts to industrialize West Bengal by attracting investments in IT, steel and special economic zone including Tata Nano project in Singur, faced significant opposition and protest in Singur and Nandigram over land acquisition, which ultimately contributed to the political decline of the left front. With this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2011. Karl Marx explained the process of class struggle with the help of which one of the following theories? Empirical liberalism, extensionism, Darwin's theories of evaluation, dialectical materialism. The answer is D, dialectical materialism. Now we'll be seeing the editorial analysis. Our topic of editorial analysis is change in Bangladesh, the challenges for India. The recent political and behavior change in Bangladesh following continuous elections and social unrest led to military intervention and the appointment of Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus as the head of an interim government. The situation reflects broader regional challenges impacting India's diplomatic, economic, social security interest and requires strategic engagement to support democratic processes and regional stability. Now, the political crisis in Bangladesh. The mutiny by the Bangladesh Rifles in February 2009 was a significant early crisis for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina government leading to 74 deaths and widespread unrest. In 2024 election crisis, the 2024 elections in Bangladesh were marred by an opposition boycott, diminishing democratic space and human rights issues leading to widespread discontent, economic and social changes. So Bangladesh faced a severe economic downturn with high youth unemployment, eroding the support base for the government. The student protest, the anti-discrimination student movement led to the protests that were met with a heavy-handed response, further fueling unrest. The Bangladesh army under General Waqar as Zaman so intervened to restore order, reflecting a shift towards supporting public sentiment over political alliance. Next, the interim government, Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, was chosen to head the interim government, signifying a departure from typically coup-installed technocrats and indicating a focus on democratic values and rule of law. In potential implications for India, will be having political and security concerns, economic and development aspects, diplomatic relations, social and cultural links are also we'll be seeing in the potential implications for India. Now, how have these ties between India and Bangladesh flourished? We have to know about that. So, first, historical ties. In historical ties, the foundation of India's relationship with Bangladesh was laid by the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. India provided critical military and material support to assist Bangladesh in its fight for independence from Pakistan. So, relations rose with a few years of military regimes to control. There was a rise in anti-India sentiment in the mid-1970s over issues ranging from boundary disputes and insurgency to sharing of water. The instability continued for few decades until Sheikh Hasina came to power in 1996, was scripted a new chapter in bilateral ties with Treaty of Sharing of Ganga waters. From then, India and Bangladesh have built a cooperation in trade, energy, infrastructure, connectivity, and defense. Next, in economic cooperation, bilateral trade between India and Bangladesh has grown steadily over last decade. Bangladesh have emerged India's largest trade partner in South Asia, also with bilateral trade reaching 18 billion US dollars. India is also the second biggest trade partner of Bangladesh with exports amounting 2 billion US dollars in Indian markets. So Bangladesh will be eager to finalize a free trade agreement with India and also pursue the China-backed regional comprehensive economic partnership. This dual approach raises concerns for India. Next, in infrastructure. So since 2010, India was extended lines of credit to Bangladesh worth over billion. India and Bangladesh have successfully resolved long pending issues like land boundary agreement in 2015 and maritime dispute over territorial waters. Link that connects Bangladesh and the northeast through Tripura. India and Bangladesh in 2023 inaugurated the Akura Agartala Rail. The BIMSTEC Master Plan for Transport Connectivity focus on connecting major transport projects in India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, thereby establishing a shipping network. It is likely to boost small-scale industries and development in Assam and Tripura. Next, in energy. In the energy sector, Bangladesh imports nearly 2000 megawatts of electricity from India. Next, defense cooperation. India and Bangladesh share 4096.7 kilometers of border, the longest land boundary that India shares with any of its neighbors. So the two states conduct joint exercises like Army Exercise Sampriti, Exercise Sampriti, and Navy Exercise Bango Sagar. Next, multilateral cooperation. India and Bangladesh are also engaged in regional cooperation through multilateral forums such as SAARC, BIMSTEC, and the Indian Ocean Rim Association. So that's all from this topic. Next, we'll be seeing under the international organizations, United Nations, which we are being seeing in our past two videos. Under this, first we are going to discuss about UNDP. The United Nations Development Program is the UN Global Development Network. UNDP was established in the year 1965 by the General Assembly of United Nations. It provides expert advice, training, and grant support to developing countries with increasing emphasis on assisting of least developed countries. The UNDP Executive Board is made up of representatives of 36 countries around the world who serve on the rotating basis. It is funded entirely by voluntary contributions from the member nations. So UNDP is central to the United Nations Sustainable Development Group, a network that spans 165 countries and unites 40 United Nations funds, programs, specialized agencies, and other bodies working to advance the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Next, UNEP, the United Nations Environmental Program, is a global environmental authority that sets the global environmental agenda, promotes the coherent implementation of environmental dimension of sustainable development within the United Nations system. It was founded by the UN General Assembly as a result of Nations Conference of Human Environment Stockholm Conference in June 1972. UNDP and World Meteorological Organization established Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in 1988 to assess climate change based on latest science. Since its founding, the UNEP has played a key role for development of multilateral environment agreements. The secretariats of the following 9 MEA are currently hosted by UNEP. They are Convention on Biological Diversity, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, Convention on Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, Vienna Convention for Protection of the Ozone Layer, Minamata Convention on Mercury, Basel Convention on Control of Transboundary Movements of Hazardous Waste and Their Disposal, Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, Rotterdam Convention of the Prior Informed Consent Procedure. Next, the certain hazard chemicals and pesticides in international trade. Next, UN Habitat. United Nations Human Settlements Program is the United Nations program working towards the better urban future. Its mission is to promote socially and environmentally sustainable human settlements, development and achievement of adequate shelter for all. It was established in 1978 as an outcome of the first UN Conference on Human Settlements and Sustainable Urban Development. Second United Nations Conference on Human Settlements in Istanbul, Turkey in 1996 set the twin goals of the Habitat Agenda, that is adequate shelter for all, development of sustainable human settlements in urbanization world. Third United Nations Conference on Housing and Sustainable Development, Habitat 3, was held in 2016 in Quito, Ecuador. It elaborated on Goal 11 of Sustainable Development Goals, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Next, WFP. World Food Program is the leading humanitarian organization saving lives and changing lives, delivering food assistance in emergency and working with communities to improve nutrition and build resilience. The WFP was established in the year 1963 by FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, and the United Nations General Assembly. So, remaining United Nations organs we'll be seeing on our next video. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been provided in the description. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Thank you.